this is Vargas XX78 with another collection pickup video for the Vargas Vault. I just wanted to share with you guys, like this video series usually does, the latest pickups for the Vault. Lots of little things to talk about that I've added these couple of weeks, so let's get started. Now, it's been a good couple of months since I've added any sort of video games to my collection. Video games, unfortunately, are the only thing that I'm having difficulty buying. And I haven't really focused myself too much on video games because, you know, between work and family life, I don't really have that much time to sit down and play anything. But I went to a flea market in, well, it's the swap meet in Spring Valley. And we were browsing around, just, you know, looking for Halloween stuff and stuff for my daughter. And I went there and I picked up for my daughter a little drum, because she likes, you know, drumming things, but she's playing with it, so I can't show it on the video. And I also bought her a Princess Peach costume. She's a little too small for it, but when she's a little older, she'll have a Princess Peach costume. Again, I don't have it to show it here because we have to wash it. That's what I bought for my daughter. And just browsing around, I found a couple of things. Other times I found some really cool stuff, but this time around I only was able to find a couple of things. First off, and I'm really super excited about this one. I love Godzilla. I've mentioned this before. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I grew up watching Godzilla movies, so anything that I can pick up Godzilla related, I do. And in this occasion, I picked up for the Wii Godzilla Unleashed. Now on the GameCube, there's a really kick-ass video game called Godzilla All Out Monsters Attack Melee. And that on the GameCube was a fighting game where you could use Godzilla and all of the monsters in the series. Now that was pretty cool. The graphics were pretty cool. The control was pretty cool. They released a sequel, of course, and that's this one, Godzilla Unleashed, with better graphics and tighter control and more characters. Now, I've been wanting this game for a while, but at GameStop, it's always really expensive. It's really expensive to buy it at GameStop. I've seen it go from anywhere between $40 to $35. I've never seen it for anything less than that. But I bought this one for the amount of $2, and that's insane that I was able to get this for $2. It comes complete, comes with the game. Doesn't have a single scratch. Comes with the manual, which is really cool. So I'm super excited to have found Godzilla Unleashed for the Wii for $2. That is insane, but super cool. I also added Wii Sports Resort. The Wii came originally packaged with Wii Sports, which was 6 demo sort of sports games that would showcase what the Wii could actually do. When they released the Wii Motion Plus, which is a controller that had better motion detecting technology, they released this one. This one is 12 sports that you can play with your Miis and have a fun. So I've been looking for a copy of this, and I found this one also for $2. I thought that was pretty amazing. Usually we find a lot of people that sell DVDs, but this time we only found one spot that was selling DVDs for $1. So for $1, I found Extreme Rules 2010. I'm always on the lookout for anything Godzilla related, anything anime related, and anything wrestling related, because it's kind of hard to come across that. But these guys had Extreme Rules 2010. Maybe not the best event WWE has ever had, but it had some cool matches. The John Cena Batista Last Man Standing match was pretty cool. So $1, you know, I thought that was awesome. Picked up Skyfall. I didn't own Skyfall. I needed Skyfall to have a good James Bond run because I have all of the Pierce Brosnans. James Bond, I have a couple of the Roger Moore James Bond, but I needed the Daniel Craig James Bond. I have Casino Royale, I have Quantum of Solace, I needed Skyfall, and I have to track down a copy of Spectre. But yeah, my favorite James Bond, for nostalgic reasons, is Roger Moore. When I was growing up, Roger Moore was my James Bond. I like Pierce Brosnan better. I like his 4 movies, and Daniel Craig is pretty good. He's a very solid James Bond too. But I needed Skyfall, added Skyfall. Also picked up Saving Mr. Banks, which is kind of like a sort of documentary where Walt Disney, played by Tom Hanks, is trying to convince the writer of Mary Poppins to allow the Disney Studio to adapt her book into the movie, which is, Mary Poppins, the super famous Mary Poppins movie. My wife loves Mary Poppins. She grew up watching Mary Poppins and Sleeping Beauty, so I wanted to pick this one up for her, so she could, have a look at what went behind the creation of Mary Poppins. So, been looking forward to that. And this one, I remember watching this when I was a kid. I remember watching this movie, thinking it was really, really weird. Watched it again recently now that I bought it. I still think it's pretty weird. But Tim Curry is amazing in this, and that's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Again, late night when I was a kid, this channel that would pass the Kung Fu movies and the Godzilla movies would at night pass horror movies, and I would, sneak out of bed and try to watch whatever I could before they caught me and I had to go to sleep. But they would pass some really weird movies. I don't even remember most of the movies, but I remember watching Rocky Horror Picture Show and thought it was just weird. Again, I was a kid. I thought it was weird, and watching it again, it's still weird. But Tim Curry is amazing, and I didn't have Rocky Horror Picture Show, and now I do. So, yes. So I started with the video games and the movies because I got so little of them this time around. So next thing I'm going to talk about is Nerf guns. I'm still buying Nerf accessories and stuff like that. So yeah, in the Spring Valley swap meet, I found this hand grip. It's a Nerf front grip. You would put this in your tactical rail, so if it's a really big blaster, you could connect this at the front, and it would serve like a added support. You would have this thing, then have the gun, then have the stock, so you could carry it like a tactical weapon. This is really cool because I have a couple of blasters that are really heavy. They're really front heavy, so this thing will be pretty awesome. And I also found this Pirate of the Caribbean Buccaneer blaster. Now, when I bought it, it didn't do anything. I thought it might be a Nerf blaster, but I saw all these wires inside, so I thought it's definitely going to be something electronic. Originally, what I found out from a person in the Nerf forum is that this thing, you would push this thing back, and a little switch here would pull a battery tray behind, and when you hit the trigger, it would release that and can do kind of a recoil thing, and it would make the sound effect. Unfortunately, when I tried to do it, it wouldn't do it because inside these little two parts got separated. So I was like, oh, I'll just take it apart and put it back together. So I did. I took it apart, put it together, and when I primed this thing back, the thing inside just broke. It exploded. So it doesn't have the priming and the battery tray pushing forward, but it still does. It still lights up. And the thing here also lights up, and it still does the sound effect. So this is not a Nerf blaster. It doesn't shoot the darts, but as a prop for a costume, I thought it was pretty cool. I picked it up because it's this green. It's kind of like the Sonic green variants for the Nerf blasters. But I like the transparent look of it, so yeah. And Bob, that's his name. He posted that there were like 4 different colors: regular Buccaneer, a transparent purple one, the green one, and princess-looking pinkish thing. But still, again, it doesn't fire any sort of Nerf darts. But I liked it because it's an electronic prop that works. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next thing, last video I showed that I bought the Cyclone Shot, which was this big mega firing revolver. So I picked up mega ammo. This is way bigger than the Elite darts. This is like huge. I was hoping that maybe I could find the bullets cheap at a flea market, but I didn't, and I really wanted to use the Cyclone Shot to test if it worked. So I bought the darts, but I actually still have to open them and test them out. Also picked up this new in-bag Rebel ball blaster. You would put the ball here in this thing, and then you pull this lever here, and supposedly it'll shoot the ball. I'm gonna give this to my daughter when she's a bit older. That's why it's still in the bag, but I thought it was interesting to find it, you know, brand new, still sealed in the bag. Also, I still want, and I'm still thinking of going on Halloween as Darth Vader. But for my company's Halloween costume party, I have a Hawkeye costume that I showcased in Facebook and on YouTube, and it's already done. Everything's complete. I just need a quiver to complete the look, because Hawkeye has a quiver where he pulls out the arrows and, you know, uses it. So at a flea market, I found this thing. It's a quiver. It says Disney at the bottom. So I'm guessing that this is a quiver for that was released for the Brave Pixar movie. But I can play. It looks okay as is, but I could just change this strap for a black one, and I'll have, you know, a quiver for my Hawkeye costume. But I just bought this for that. Also, however, Nerf does have you know, bows of itself that use arrows, so I can just stuff the arrows here. So this thing will serve for a lot of stuff, actually. Now, a couple of months ago, I showcased that I bought the Vulcan, which was this big chain-working blaster that Nerf released a couple of years ago. That was incomplete. I just had the Vulcan, and before I bought the Vulcan, I had the ammo box. Then a couple of months back, I bought the chain that you know, would feed the darts into the Vulcan. The only thing I was missing was the battery tray and the tripod thing. But thankfully, I was able to buy the battery cover. This is not the battery tray. I still need the actual box where the batteries go in, and, you know, it would make the thing fire automatic. But this is the battery cover. I still need to see if it'll fit the Vulcan. I'm pretty sure it's a Vulcan battery tray. I'm hoping it's not a Rhino Fire battery tray, but this will at least cover that ugly hole that my Vulcan has. And I was also fortunate enough to buy, to find a tripod. So this would go on the front of the Vulcan, and if you wanted to set it up, you could put it as a tripod, and just, you know, start shooting people with the Vulcan. So now, except for the battery tray, I have an almost complete Vulcan, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. Also, I picked up this little dart tag eliminator. A couple of months ago, I bought a green version. This time I found an orange version, and it shoots the darts, which is cool. Also found this little Star Wars blaster. It looks like the bigger blaster that I picked up, the blue one. It's just a prop gun that doesn't fire any Nerf guns. It just does the Star Wars sound effects. This one looks the same design, so I'm guessing it's also a General Grievous blaster. It's a little smaller than that blue one, but it works. You prime it, and it shoots Nerf darts. So it's kind of small, but it's Star Wars, and like I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I usually pick up anything Star Wars related if it's a weapon, like a lightsaber or the such. So it's Star Wars thing. It's a weapon and it shoots darts. So that was a pickup for me for sure. Also, I bought a bag of random darts, and this thing came in. I bought a big bad bow a while ago, which is what I'm going to use for my Hawkeye costume. I modified it looking at some mod videos so it shoots elite darts, but I'm thinking of using this with some sort of extension for the quiver, so it'll look like a like an arrow that Hawkeye would use. So that came in there. Also, back to Star Wars, I bought this thing. Now, in the last video that I showed, I found a lightsaber like this. That, unfortunately, didn't have the flashlight. It just had the tilt and the extendable thing. Now, that one I thought was a Mace Windu lightsaber, but that looks like they just took a purple Mace Windu lightsaber, extending plastic, and stuffed it into what looks like a Darth Maul lightsaber. So that's a Franken saber. This one also looks like the Darth Maul saber, but the difference between this one is that when you press the button, it's a flashlight, and it's a really, really cool flashlight. It has like oh crap! Now I'm blinding myself. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 LEDs inside, and it lights up. It lights up pretty bright, and it also has the sound effects. So I thought this was pretty cool. It didn't turn on when I bought it, which is why the seller gave it to me for a cheaper price. But after playing around with it, I guess something switched on it and it started working. But it's a flashlight. However, as I was taking it apart, I did realize that I can put the lightsaber plastic part on this and make that lightsaber light up after all. So yeah, I might just keep this as a flashlight because I think it's pretty cool. However, this one, if I can find a duplicate one of these, I can connect them through this thing. This thing is a connector. See here? And it would connect, and then I would have my Darth Maul lightsaber thing. So, but it's a lightsaber. It has sound effects. It lights up. But this one's just a flashlight, and I'm okay with that. I think this is pretty cool, and I'm always on the lookout for lightsabers or anything Star Wars related. What else? Okay. Went to another flea market and I picked up this little thing, which is the Triad EX3. This is a bigger version of the Jolt. The Jolt is just a single shot little pistol thing. This one fires 3, and I think that's pretty cool. The grip is small. You just put the 3 darts in, prime it, and shoot. And this one has an intelligent air ID thing. So it shoots 1, 2, 3, and then if you only put 1 here, it'll just shoot that one. So I thought this was a compact, nice blaster thing. Picked up this one. I saw Vulcan S7 do a tag bag on this. This is the Switch Shot. On the Wii, there's a Nerf game. There was actually 2 Nerf games that were released, and attached to those were blasters. Now this one, if you press this button here, this thing opens up. You remove the plunger, and you can put your Wiimote here. So when you were playing the game, you could use it shoot it like if it was a Wii Zapper. And once you were done playing with the Wii game, you can connect the plunger here, put this thing back in, and it would fire darts. The plunger is not that strong, so it doesn't shoot the darts that far away. This was meant to be used with that video game, so now I'm looking for the Wii video game. But this is the Switch Shot EX3, I think, and I picked it up because, if I ever find the Wii game, now I have the blaster that was meant for that. I'm also on the lookout for stocks. I want to get stocks for my blasters, and I was able to find 2 stocks. This is a Raider stock, who everyone says is their favorite stock. It's collapsible, you know, it can extend like that. It can extend however you need it, and it won't move. And this thing's really comfortable when you're shouldering a blaster. This is, I like the logo that it has there, and someone in the Nerf, FNB Nerf forum mentioned this was a Super Soaker. So now I have 3 versions of this Raider stock. This Super Soaker, the one that came in the Demolisher, and that yellow one that I picked up in the last video. And speaking of the yellow one, I also found this Recon Stock. This is pretty cool because you can put a magazine, an extra magazine here. It has a magazine holder, so when you run out, you can just take this one out and use it. Additionally, I found another barrel extension, but this one has this little scope. This is the Recon scope, and the way that this would work is that you would pull this thing forward, and you would align the target area here with your little iron sight here, and it wouldn't really improve performance, but you know, it gave it that more real gun kind of look. So between these two things and the laser pointer that I bought a couple of months ago and my Recon, the way that this whole thing would look is that this is a single Recon that I bought, one of the first Nerf blasters that I bought after the Snapfire 8 and the Swarmfire. I bought this one, a Maverick, and a I forgot the name of it, a Barricade. But this thing was a lot more complete, and it's because it was missing these parts. So you would put a barrel extension here with the sight. You would put the laser pointer at the bottom here, and then you would put the stock here, and that's how a complete Recon is supposed to look. The Recon gun with its magazine, the barrel extension, the iron sight, the laser pointer, and the stock. And you pull this thing backward, push this button, release the magazine, and this thing would go here. It's the extra magazine holder, like that. So you would have, you know, an initial magazine to shoot people with. And you would put that here. Alright. Yeah, pull this thing. Boom. And that's, now I finally have a complete Recon CS6, which is pretty cool. I like the idea of having a complete gun. This is how you would have bought the Recon originally, with all these attachments. So I'm super happy that it took me a while, but I finally have a complete Recon blaster. So I'm really happy that I was able to get that. Also, I already bought a Dark Tag Mag Strike, but I found a N-Strike Mag Strike. Looking at Wacom's tag bag, he mentioned then the blue one that I got was the first version of the Mag Strike. Then that got discontinued immediately when they released the N-Strike. When they released the N-Strike, this has better internals, has better seals. And I've seen the yellow version, but the pump either doesn't work, or it doesn't come with the clip. This one, however, came with the clip, so this is compatible with that other Mag Strike that I bought. The pump is in a way better condition than, it still has a couple of dents, but it's in a lot better shape than the blue one that I bought. And hopefully this one will work better than the last one I showed. But you pump it a couple of times, and it shoots this thing forward. So again, you pump it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It hits because it doesn't require as many pumps as the blue one. And there we go. It still kind of hits this air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, it shoots okay. You're supposed to pump it 20 times, and then it'll release the whole clip. But yeah, I already have the blue one, but I didn't have the End Strike one, and I want to complete a Dart Tag and End Strike collection. Dart Tag because my first blaster was the Snapfire 6, which was part of the Dart Tag line, and the End Strike because the first 3 blasters I bought, the Barricade, the Maverick, and the Recon, were End Strike. So I want to complete the set. To add to that, I did find this Dart Tag Hyperfire. This is a blaster you would hold like this. Has a 10 container thing that you would shoot 10 darts. The way that this works is that you grab this handle, pull it back, prime it, and then you would shoot. And when you pull the trigger, it would shoot, and it would rotate the barrel to the next dart. So I thought this was pretty cool. It's kind of non-really functional because it has these 2 grips. So you grip it, but then you would need an extra hand to prime it. So you have to let go, prime it, shoot, prime it, grab it, prime it, grab it. So it's not really that practical, but it's part of the Dart Tag series, and I want to, like I said, complete my Dart Tag. And this orange color goes great with this orange one. So yeah, I'm only missing the Quick 16 and the Night Finder, but it's called the Firestrike. It's a Night Finder, but with the Dart Tag logo. Also picked up a Diatron. Also, I was looking at Vulcan S7, and he did a tag bet on the Diatron, and this is kind of like the Vigilon. The Vigilon was a big vortex gun. The vortex blasters fired the little discs, and that one had an internal magazine that would hold 5 discs and would shoot them. This one, you press this button, and it opens a internal magazine that holds 10 darts. You can put technically 12, and then you prime it by pulling this thing out, closing it, and it fires 2 darts at the same time. So it's twice the firepower of a Vigilon, and it's slightly smaller than the Vigilon. I like the design. The design is pretty cool, in my opinion. It just looks really, really sweet. Very futuristic. If I ever cosplay as some sort of futuristic blasting character, this would fit really well, and I just like the look of it. The look of it is pretty boss, and it fires 10 darts. So I thought that was not darts, little disc things, but I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely an awesome looking blaster. And the very last thing that I bought is Nerf is basically the big name in blasters. However, there are other blasters. I bought a couple of Busby blasters, which is the cheaper alternative, but they do have some good blasters. But what I've always been curious to get is Boonco. I do have the Batman v Superman Boonco blaster, and there's a really cool Wonder Woman crossbow one that I would like to get if I ever find it cheap. But Boonco apparently is closing shop. They are not selling so well. They didn't sell so well, even though the ammo is like this little straw ammunition. That's a lot better than the foam blasters. The foam blasters, after shooting it a couple of times, the foam kind of gets kind of weak, and then the blasters get all squishy. But Boonco's darts are like straws, but they're very thick straws, so they're very resilient. And because of the material used in it, it shoots really well. I really love the Boonco ammo. But I wanted to add additional ammo. Like I said, I want to get that Wonder Woman crossbow. There's the Twisted Spinner, which is this like blaster that you prime it. It doesn't have a trigger, but it shoots by just pulling this little handle thing, and it shoots darts. And the other one I wanted to get is the Far Shot. And this is a Generation 2 Far Shot. Generation 1 was a bit smaller, and it had a shield. The thing about the Boonco Smart Stick ammo is that it has kind of like this little sticky tip, and on these smart targets, it had a certain kind of material that it would make the dart stick to it. So the way that you would play Boonco is that you would have these vests, or the blasters would have the shields, and as you shot the dart, it would stick to it, and that would count as a hit. Unfortunately, they don't use the targets anymore. The Generation 2 has a bigger size than Generation 1. It doesn't come with the shield, unfortunately, but it supposedly has better internals. And this is the far shot. It's a handgun. The grip is kind of small, not so much for me. It doesn't bother me in any way. It has two dart holders here, two dart holders here, and of course a single one. It's a single shot, so the reloading is kind of slow, but you prime this thing back. It has a lock, so it doesn't shoot unless it has a dart. But you prime it back, and it shoots really well. It shoots really far. It shoots a lot farther than most of the blasters, most of the Nerf blasters that I've bought. It sounds kind of weird. It kind of shakes a lot. It shakes a lot more than the Nerf blaster. The plastic is a little different than the Nerf blaster, but this shoots pretty well. Like I said, it's because of the ammo. The ammo that Boonco uses is really cool, and I really do hope that Boonco doesn't go out of business. Even though I haven't seen any Boonco products in any Walmart, both in the United States and here in Mexico. I bought this at a different kind of store. I actually bought one of these for my nephew for his birthday, because I do think that this is pretty cool, even though my nephew is still young, and this thing quite a punch with the dart. So maybe that was a mistake. I should have bought him a Nerf blaster. But I like the precision of the Boonco ammo, and I like the force that the Boonco has. Both this one and the Batman blaster shoot really, really far away, and again, it's because of the ammo. I would like to somehow turn a Nerf blaster into a Boonco. Take a Nerf blaster and somehow have it shoot Boonco ammo, because Boonco ammo I think is better than the Nerf ammo. But of course, Nerf has been around for longer, and they have more experience in creating the blasters. So somehow, if I can find a video or someone that turns a Nerf blaster to accept Boonco ammo, that would be awesome. But like I said, I would like to get at least 3 more Boonco blasters. That Wonder Woman crossbow, that Twisted Spinner, and there's a Halo inspired blaster called the M6. It's also a handgun, but it looks way cooler. And there's also a Covenant Kneeler. That's a big, bulky thing, but the needles light up in a pretty cool way. That one just looks cool. So I would like to get those 3 blasters, but I already have a far shot, and I like the far shot. If I don't have any ring, the grip is pretty cool, the trigger pull is pretty cool, and the performance is just amazing, I think. But again, that's entirely because of the Boonco ammo. So yeah, that was the pickup video, mostly Nerf. I am trying to cut back, but I keep finding awesome Nerf stuff, and honestly, it's kind of hard to say no when I find such cheap things and such cool things, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm running out of space, so I will try to get the smaller blasters, because it's a lot of fun. The reason I've gotten hooked to this is because I like the building of things. Everything's so modular, and you can build blasters out of spare parts and have this really cool feeling of a gun. And I play darts with my nephews, and they're shooting their guns, and I'm shooting there, and we're seeing who has the longest range, and we do contests and everything. We don't shoot each other with the darts because I don't want to poke someone's eye out. But we do have fun just going on a basketball court, and then just shooting far away and see who gets the longest. It's a lot of fun, and of course there's all this community behind it of people that are modding it to get better ranges of blasters and doing all these crazy integrations where they take this blaster and then they add another blaster and make this super awesome creation. So I can see why a lot of people love Nerf, and I'm beginning to really love Nerf too. When I was a kid, I grew up watching the commercials all the time, and I always wanted the Nerf blaster. Now that I'm a grown up and I have money, and here in Mexico these blasters are dirt cheap, I'm like buying everything I can. But there will come a point where I have to stop buying stuff, either because of space or I have to, you know, I have so many guns, I'm not honestly going to use them. I might, you know, just keep the cooler ones someday and give them to my daughter or my nephews or something. But for right now, I'm enjoying the blasters with my nephews, and that's the whole point of this. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to find something as cool as, you know, a Diatron. I saw that Vulcan video and I was like, damn it, I want a Diatron because it looks cool. And it is cool. You know, it's cool. You know, it's just a piece of plastic, but it's so awesome. But yeah, I'm rambling again. So yeah, I'll still probably add a couple of more because I do want to complete the N-Strike line. I'm missing a couple of blasters for that one, and I'm missing a couple of blasters for the Dartech. But that's a project somewhere down the line, and eventually I would like to get modding some guns, but that'll be later on. I'll probably also do a video on that somewhere down the line. But like always, guys, thanks so much for watching and hearing me ramble for these last couple of minutes. Like always, thanks so much for hearing me out. And until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78, thanking you and signing out.